We all know that climate affects our lives, but what factors affect climate? Let's look at 4 factors. The first factor is latitude. Latitudes that are close to the equator are called low latitudes. Those that are near the North and South poles are called high latitudes. Those that are in the middle are called mid-latitudes. In this diagram, we can see 2 sunbeams of equal energy shining on the Earth. The sunbeam that shines on the region at the low latitudes concentrates on a smaller area of the Earth's surface, so the temperature in the low latitudes region is relatively high. On the other hand, the sunbeam that shines on the high latitudes region is dispersed and covers a larger area of the Earth's surface, so the temperature in the high latitudes region is relatively low. This all means that areas close to the equator are hot, and areas close to the 2 poles are cool. Generally speaking, areas in the low latitudes are in what we call the tropical zone, areas in the mid-latitudes are in the temperate zones, and areas in the high latitudes are in the cold zones. The second factor to influence climate is distance from the sea. In summer, seawater absorbs heat more slowly than the land, so the temperature of seawater is lower than that of the land. This also means that air over the sea is cooler than air over the land. This cool sea air helps make coastal regions cooler. In winter, seawater loses heat more slowly than the land, so the temperature of seawater is higher. Air over the sea is warmer than air over the land. This warm sea air helps make coastal regions warmer. Climates in inland regions are not cooled or warmed by the sea. Because of this, the climate in inland regions is extreme, with very hot summers and very cold winters. Moisture-laden winds from the sea form clouds easily and cause rain along coastal regions. However, as sea winds penetrate inland, moisture in the air dries up because of continuous rainfall as the winds pass over land. As a result, climates in inland regions are dry with little rainfall. To sum up, the climate in coastal regions is mild and humid and is known as a maritime climate, while the climate in inland regions is extreme and dry and is known as a continental climate. The third factor influencing climate is altitude. Air is denser at lower altitudes. This air easily absorbs heat from the surface of the Earth, resulting in higher temperatures. On the other hand, at higher altitudes, because air is less dense, its heat-absorbing power is weaker. This means lower temperatures. Topography also affects humidity and precipitation. If humid winds move across a high mountain, the winds climb up the slopes. As the wind climbs, the moisture in the wind turns cold, condenses, and becomes precipitation. So when the winds rise to a great height, such as 4,500 meters, the moisture in the air dries up because of continuous rainfall along slopes. That's why climates at very high altitudes are relatively dry. The fourth factor that influences climate is monsoon winds. Monsoon winds are winds that change direction in different seasons. But what causes monsoon? Sunshine heats the Earth's surface, causing heated air to expand and rise, decreasing air density and creating low-pressure areas. The sea absorbs heat more slowly than the land. Temperatures near the sea are lower than that on land, resulting in an increase in air density or high pressure. Winds blow from high-pressure areas over the sea to low-pressure areas over the land in what we call onshore winds. Summer monsoon winds bring humid and warm weather to areas that they blow across. In winter, the heat from the sun grows weaker. Air on land turns cold, condenses, and sinks, resulting in denser air or high-pressure area. On the other hand, as the sea loses heat more slowly than the land, the air above it becomes warmer and thinner, causing a low-pressure area to develop. Winds blow from high-pressure areas over the land to low-pressure areas over the sea, in the form of what we call offshore winds. Winter monsoon winds bring dry and cold weather to the areas they blow across. China is a vast country. From north to south, her territory extends across about 50 degrees of latitude. The distance between the inland areas in the west to the seas in the east measures more than 4,000 kilometers. China's topography is diverse. For these reasons, China has a variety of climates. In simple terms, China's climate can be divided into 4 regions. The southern region has tropical and subtropical maritime climates. In this region, it is hot, humid, and rainy, but winters are mild. Let's take Guangzhou as an example. In Guangzhou, the mean temperature in January is about 13 degrees Celsius, and in July it's about 28 degrees Celsius. The annual total precipitation is around 1,682 millimeters. The coastal region in the north of China has a temperate maritime climate. Here, the climate is cooler than that of the southern region, and precipitation is higher than that of the inland region. Let's take Beijing as an example. In Beijing, summers are very hot, with a mean temperature of about 26 degrees Celsius in July. However, its winters are very cold. It even snows at times. The mean temperature in January is about -4 degrees Celsius. The further north we go, the lower the temperatures. For instance, in Harbin, the mean temperature in January is about -19 degrees Celsius. The north and northwestern regions of China have a temperate continental climate. The further west we go, the drier the weather. The annual total precipitation of Lanzhou is around 316 millimeters, but the annual precipitation of Urumqi in the west further inland measures only about 236 millimeters. The reason for very dry weather in the western part of China is its great distance from the seas in the east, so the sea winds from the east cannot reach this region. The Xinjiang Plateau, standing in the way, blocking the sea winds from the south to this region, also accounts for the extreme dryness. The southwest part of China is the well-known Xinjiang Plateau, the highest plateau in the world. It has a plateau climate. Here it's cold and dry, with little rain the whole year through. Lhasa, located high on the Xinjiang Plateau, has an annual average temperature of only about 7.5 degrees Celsius and precipitation of about 429 millimeters. Now let's talk about the influences of monsoon winds on the climate of China. China is situated on the eastern side of the Eurasian continent, facing east to the largest ocean in the world, the Pacific Ocean. China also faces south to the Indian Ocean. In summer, low-pressure systems develop above the Eurasian continent, while high-pressure systems form over the Pacific Ocean and Indian Ocean. Moisture-filled warm winds blow from the oceans to the Eurasian continent. These winds are the summer monsoon winds. The summer monsoon winds bring abundant rain to China. Normally, the rain belt formed by the summer monsoon winds over the southern region in May moves to the middle-lower reaches of Changjiang in June. In July, the rain belt moves to the north of Huaihe, initiating the rainy season in the northern part of China. However, if the summer monsoon winds are different from normal, for example, if they're quite weak, the monsoon rains linger in one place and cause flooding. In winter, a high-pressure system develops above the Eurasian continent, while a low-pressure system forms over the oceans. Cold and dry winds blow from the Eurasian continent to the oceans. These winds are the winter monsoon winds. The winter monsoon winds cause a sudden drop of temperature and bring dry weather to the areas they pass over. Hong Kong is one of the places affected. The cold front, so often mentioned in weather reports, often refers to these winter monsoon winds. For example, on 25th of January 2001, a cold front arrived at Hong Kong, causing a great drop in the mean daily temperature from 21 degrees Celsius to 12.9 degrees Celsius in just 3 days. This is the end of our introduction to the climatic conditions of China. We hope you now understand more about the climate of China.